Good morning, Flosstube friends. It is Monday, August 6th, and I'm so happy to have time this morning to come say hello, have you come visit with me. I'm back in my kitchen filming. It seems to be a bit easier, and I'm not getting quite the glare that I get in my dining room. My daughter, who is almost finished with her study abroad, has promised to help me set up and get a better light and a better recording once she gets back. So I hope that works out. I hope you are well and that your stitching is bringing you much relaxation and joy. And from the woman who was supposed to be stitching from stash back in the beginning of the year, I have a stash video and also some hair issues this morning. Isn't it always something? I had a wedding anniversary about a week ago, and my husband ordered some beautiful kits and charts for me, and so I need to share those with you today. I have whip updates on 3 pieces, and at the very end, a book recommendation. Although I am just 50 pages into the book, so I'll have to give you my final thumbs up when I'm finished. Book club choice, so I'll share that with you. So today I will show you the chart that I have wanted for a while, and you'll understand why when you see what it is. My husband was able to order it. It is Papillon Creations Mary, Queen of Scots sampler. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, you know how much we value our Scottish heritage, and now that we've been over there and seen the beauty and understand more of the history, all of these historic samplers are jumping out at me and calling my name. This, of course, is a modern sampler that has been created by Papillon Creations. It is a monochromatic design, and it is representative of Mary's life when she was in the French court. You'll see her represented, the unicorn, and then the quote for which she is so famous, "In my end is my beginning." So we are trying to decide now if we want to pick a beautiful scarlet burgundy for the monochromatic design and what fabric we want to do. I've got to get a couple of finishes so that I can start this one. It is elegant, it is historic, beautiful, and a sampler, all of the things that I love. So brand new, so excited to have that in my collection. Then he chose, or found I should say, an old Thea Governor kit. This must have been designed for maybe the tourist areas in Edinburgh, but this is Holyrood Palace by Thea Governor. And you know from what I've said, but also other Flosstubers have said, what amazing kits Thea Governor produces. And this one I think is no exception. I want to try to just show you, forgive the crackle, how beautifully this is packaged without messing everything up. So you'll see we're going to be having more earth tones, but there are some beautiful blues in there as well, which I'm not finding to show you. They're more grays and blues there in the middle. This is an 18 count Aida, very soft. And this also needs to go on my get it done list. Holyrood Palace was one of my favorite tourist stops that we made, and so I will love having this also hanging in our home. Where will the time come from to get all these things done? I guess no sleep and no housework, and there we go. He also, and I told him with all this he has ordered me, I need to teach him to stitch, ordered 3 tiny kits of Scottish landmarks. This is also Holyrood Palace, but you can see how small this kit is. This was produced or made in Scotland textile heritage, but you can see how the little floss is so beautifully twisted inside the kit, and I actually opened that one and put it back. This is a tiny version of Edinburgh Castle. These were designed to be done as cards. So you see the card here? We're wondering if those could be used as mats. But just love that. And this last one, excuse me, is St. Giles Cathedral. It may be Giles, St. Giles. Every time I say that, I second guess myself. I'm almost sure it's St. Giles Cathedral. But again, this has the little card mat in the back. I do think these would be good purse pieces, although they are so tiny. Those stitches may be a bit challenging. It looks like it is 18 count Aida as well. My husband's hope was that we could frame them together in a frame about this size. We need to remeasure and be sure that would work. But they could hang in a row or in a grouping somewhere. Now, of course, what I'm showing you is not the size it's going to be when finished. So we're not sure this is going to work. But the goal is frames, square frames of whatever size they need to be, grouped together. Won't that be fun? My fingers are not flying fast enough. Then I received a care package from daughter in Scotland who had visited with a friend some beautiful areas outside the city of Edinburgh, and she graciously purchased some beautiful things for me there. This is another little tool pouch, and the same thing on the back. You know, I should have double checked which castle this is. I know that they saw this, and oh, that's embarrassing, but it's one of the gorgeous ones that is on a tour, and you can see everything, furniture, tapestries, everything included. Well, I just failed at that, not knowing what this is. Isn't that just perfect for our tools? Too beautiful to throw in my purse, that's for sure. And she found a couple of thistle and flower kits. This is a pin cushion. This is also the textile heritage that is made in Scotland. And it is Victorian thistles. This kit even includes the cording for the pin cushion. Isn't that beautiful? And then a bookmark. This one is called Flowers of Scotland. They do the most gorgeous kits over there. So the bookmark is ready to stitch, and it even includes, as my others have, the backing and the tassel. These colors are just rich and beautiful. And of course I love the bookmark because it's blue. So I will never want for purse stitching again. You can see that my stash is growing and growing embarrassingly fast. And thank you to those precious family members who enable. Now let me catch you up a bit on some progress. You remember that I had started Heartstring Samplery new every morning. I want to try to get that close enough for those of you who are not familiar with this. I did purchase 3 or 4 of the called for Gentle Art and Weeks Dye Works threads. The rest I have converted to DMC. This verse again, because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. I love the little birds and the verse, which I think I've told you before are stitched 1/1. The rest will be 2/2. So the fabric I chose for this came from the Stitch Niche. And you know, it's called Summer Khaki, but I was not able to discern who the company was. I've added just a small bit of progress to my blue flowers and some more of the gold, but this has not been the project that I have picked up in the last week or so. Not because I didn't want to, but because I'm trying to get a finish on a couple of others. But the colors you see here in the blues are two of the Wheat Dye Works, or excuse me, Gentle Art threads that we chose to go with the teal in my home. So this will be so lovely and such fun to stitch. Fairly large piece. Really want that one finished as well. Then my St. Paul's Cathedral. Friends, this should have been a finish. And I'm going to tell you why it is not. I was so careful as I was counting and stitching the dome of the cathedral. But when I got down to the building part, I have apparently made some counting errors. So as I am working across the main body of the cathedral, I am either having to frog or make do, neither of which are pleasant. You know my goal for this is the middle of September for my son's birthday. Now, I got some stitches in yesterday, not nearly as many as I would have liked, but I have to have a good light and my sharp scissors because there's some stitches that are out of place. I continue to love the piece. I'm just frustrated with my own carelessness. And we must plug forward and get those stitches in there so that the building looks as it should. If you can see on this side, we're so close. There's some white space there, but not much. So it's this middle part and then the part over here with the big tree that have slowed me down. The texture of this just makes me want to feel it with my fingers and enjoy it. Doing it with the sewing method has made for a needlepoint-like texture, and even the back has a beautiful texture, and I normally do not show the back, but you can see that this has been a lovely stitch. So cheer me on as I figure out those errors and get the right stitches in the right place. This was designed by Sheila Elliott, and it is called the London Collection. If you're interested in searching that on eBay, highly recommend her kits in every way. The other piece that just called out to me was my old piece, which you have seen of George Washington's home, Mount Vernon, another travel souvenir that we picked up, oh my goodness, 15 at least years ago when we were on the East Coast for a friend's wedding. And I started this piece many years ago and it got put aside, but this needs to be finished. It just keeps calling. I'm not sure how close I am, but I've done a lot on this week because I just would love to see this hanging, especially with fall coming up. I'm afraid that's optimistic though. As you can see, I got the itch to come to the end of the foliage and begin work on the Potomac River. And I'm not sure those colors are nearly as beautiful in the video as they are in person, but just gorgeous blues for the water. I've also added some foliage in several places. The building itself is finished. This part of the lawn is finished. I need to complete the trees on this side. This side is, I believe, complete. Oh no, not quite. There's a little bit of white space, or should I say beige space right there that needs to be filled in. But this is another example of using the sewing method on Ada. This is 18 count as well. Just one of my most relaxing stitches this summer for sure. When you see those blocks of color up close, it does not make as much sense as the picture will make when you see it from afar, when all the foliage is filled in, and you see the house at the top and then the beautiful river at the bottom. But this is the bottom of the piece right here, and you see where the top is. This is all finished. So, more middle fill in. This was something sold at Mount Vernon. It is called just Mount Vernon, and I'm not sure who designed this. Just Mount Vernon. That's interesting. It was done for the home. How fun is that? I will bring out my beautiful tulip, parrot tulip, that is another Thea Governor kit next time. And I also want to pull out the piece that I was working on. Oh goodness, people, brain freeze. Oh, my hedgehogs, my Riolus hedgehogs. My daughter is flying past me on that particular piece, so it needs to come out very soon. My Riolus apples should come out because they're a 10-count fabric. I could fly through those. It's more of the confetti and being sure you can find your place. Now, before I do my short book review, I want you to know that I appreciated your comments about, please let us see the dog who is always interrupting. And now that I hear her whining, I promise next video, Roxy will make a guest appearance. She is in desperate need of a bath, and her poor face, as elderly as it is, gets messed up from her eyes, and so I want to get her cleaned up before I introduce her to you. She is black with white markings, and she is an American Staffordshire Terrier. Could be a terrier mix. She was rescued by my son when he was in college and soon became our dog. She is very elderly, but I do want you to meet her, so that will happen in the next video. Now, a book club choice, which I am thoroughly enjoying, The Chilbury Ladies Choir by Jennifer Ryan. This is a World War II story, but it is more a story about women, their role in the family and in the community, and how they survived that horrible war and supported each other. But there is drama, there is humor, and it's all about singing and the power of music to lift our spirits. So it's right up my alley. I will give you an update once it is finished. We are doing 50 pages at a time and trying to interact online with this, but this is a beautiful copy. You can see the village here with the women. I was able to acquire it at my library. But so far, beautiful writing and delightful story. Excellent characters. History. So I recommend this and will continue to update you on that. Have the best week ever. Do as much stitching as you can. Please post videos showing us that stitching. Thank you for subscribing if you're new. Leave comments and likes. Let me know what you'd like to see, how you're doing, and thank you for coming today and for being with me. See you very soon. Bye-bye.